thank you very much for accepting my invite for coming for this interview. And the main agenda of today's discussion is about the how to deliver projects on time with world-class quality. I know you are in Siemens, you are in Germany, but you have a lot of projects in India as well. So I know we discussed a lot of things in the project management thing, but there are a lot of companies who are from Government of India undertaking. Of course, I mean, I have worked with the global leaders also. I have worked in many multinational companies. There is a lot of difference working with the multinational companies and the companies in India. You know, Mr. Adesh Jain has been trying for many years teaching this project management. And the whole idea is to, teach and bring the concept and see to it that the projects are delivered on time with world-class quality. So you being an expert, you being a vice president of Siemens and one of the partners of Siemens, what would be your guidance for on-time delivery of projects with world-class quality?
What immediately pops into my mind is, let's say, the honest discussion about risks. You have really starting from the beginning. If you talk about project development, I'm not sure what kind of project business we talk. There's one where we have project development, so developing a project what you would like to deliver and then execute it. And there's the one what we as Siemens mostly do is like getting an RFP, writing a proposal, and then if we want, we're doing the execution. In both topics, during the planning phase, maybe the proposal phase, I take this as the same. The most important thing is what are milestones, what are targets, objectives you have to deliver, and then at the end is an honest discussion about risks that you will not make it at the end, and then you have to do some kind of replanning, and this is starting from the beginning, and they can also do some deep dives on that later on, and then during some kind of execution, there's some kind of I would say reporting or controlling of scheduling, so milestone trend analysis or whatever you do, but do it always connected to the critical path. And if you have tough timelines, then also some kind of if you use some kind of toolings or whatever, you can also use some kind of elements that you will tackle the task, which may be on the critical path in the next months, maybe not yet, and tackle also them really early. But tackling something really early, it's coming back to handling risks. So identify them on the schedule and then taking these things forward. That's what immediately popped into my mind.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, how about the contract document formation part of it? How do you see where you do in Germany or other part of the world and in India? What is the difference in contract formulation?
I'm really not sure that there's a difference. I see some differences in some kind of business types, or maybe verticals, or whatever we call them, domains. If we say, civil engineering, construction work, or maybe others say it's a little bit more machinery building or something like that. And in all the cases, you have some kind of contracts with some kind of timelines, which you have to identify really early. And in some cases, we have really, really thick contracts, let's say 1,000, 10,000 pages, and then other ones are smaller. If you have 10,000 pages, you need some kind of support to analyze these documents really early. Maybe some kind of AI technique or whatever that you will find these interesting milestones really early. And this is used in the US, in Canada, in Europe, and it's also used in some companies in India. That's why I'm saying maybe not spread to the whole country, but I know companies in US and also in India using it, using some kind of AI to analyze contracts. Let me make one point. One side is contract. The other topic is, and then you have to execute the project well. That's for sure is one of the main tasks. But the second thing, what is implemented in a project, is always some kind of technology. I'm not sure that this is true from construction, but also there's some kind of new technology. And the question is the technology ready at that point in time when you deliver the project? If we talk from a, let's say, Siemens perspective, we have a lot of machinery buildings, and sometimes we have first of its kind technology. You do something first of its kind. It could be power plants in the past, it could be metro systems or whatever. There's always something new. And for these new elements, you definitely have to think about, are they ready at that point in time when you need it in your project? So there are some, and what we see in the last, well, let's say 10 years, I'm not sure that this is not, but or what's developing over time, let's say that way, that project schedules and the corresponding development project schedules for this new technology, they will overlap more and more and more.
Yeah.
So that you promise something in a contract for some kind of new technology, but what is in the moment when you sign the contract isn't ready at that point in time. But it could be there in, let's say, in 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And so and then you have to connect both.
Yeah, correct. Very true. Very true. Yeah. You mean adhering to the schedules, whatever schedule has been given in the contract, or it has been a part of the contract. The owners or the stakeholders needs to ensure that whatever machineries are requiring or being promised should be there on time. As you said, there may be a little bit few months here and there, but more often it should be matching the timelines, delivery point of view, the machinery part of it, right? That's what you mean, right?
For sure. If you have, let's say, some kind of, let's say, significant machinery for your project or whatever this is, and there's some kind of, and there's an honest planning, let's say that way, that the planning says, okay, it has to be delivered in the 1st of May and May the 1st or whatever, then I request that the machinery is there on May the 1st, but not 7 days later, something like that. For let's say for some kind of power plants or whatever, or maybe it could also be if you build a ship. Let's say that, for example, and you have some kind of and the what is it? The diesel engine has to be there in a certain point in time because it has to be placed within the middle of the ship at a certain point in time, and then you do the next levels of the ship. So it is still important that these kind of machinery are there at the point in time when you plan it. And if your planning is right, then it should be there on time. That's what I assume. Yeah, is still needed.
Yeah, I agree with you. The planning itself is more significant. I mean, I have worked with many experts from many countries, but according to me, the planning done by the Japanese are most accurate. They spend almost 60 to 70% of the time in planning. Every single thing is taken into account in the planning so that during the execution, you do not miss any single thing. Planning means during the time of execution, every single nuts and bolts should be available in your store while execution is going on. At least 3 months look ahead. At least 3 months stock you should be having. But looking into the planning part, of course, Europe, America, Canada, you are also far ahead. All of you are following Primavera, I think, right? Primavera is being followed. But however, in India, now one high-speed rail project is going on with Japanese collaboration from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. That's a huge project, and it's mega project. So I was there recently, and they were using Primavera. But overall, it is seen that MS projects are used. So what do you have to say about the planning part as far as Indian projects are concerned? How are we doing in the planning part of it? Are we in line with the global perspective, or even 50%, 60%? Where do you rate us? Because you have a lot of projects in India.
I don't know, but let me make one comment first. I don't request to use Primavera as the tool for all kind of large project. If you do these kind of, so what I would like to have first is to understand the techniques, how schedules were built. Right. So having the basis and then using the right tooling. Yes, of course, also in huge projects, if you have more than 10,000 line items in this kind of schedules, I want to say all, but it is Primavera is widely used or most common to do that for power plants, for metro systems, whatever it is. So this is right. But what I like to first is to understand what you have to do. If you listen to Klaus Greve, he was the project manager for the 2012 Olympic Games, building all these kind of stadiums and whatever this is, arenas in London. They did a planning exercise with a lot of tasks, and for each of the tasks, they also discuss the risks that it is delayed for days, for weeks, or whatever, for each of them. And then the question is, how do you integrate it? And maybe the best way to integrate it is also Primavera. I'm fine with that. But doing that means you have to spend a lot of time in doing the planning, add this kind of risk exercise for 10,000 line items that they may be delayed, and then do some kind of replanning. And based on that, you easily spend more than 50% on an overall schedule in the planning phase. Could be 60. If you mentioned 60, and I would say yes, doing that, because if you do something for the Olympic Games, it can't be delayed. That's that's the huge risk. So and you ask how I would rate you. At the end, I would say I don't know, because I haven't seen a pure, let's say, Indian project. It is in my way. It's always connected. I know that Siemens Mobility won this kind of locomotive task in. I'm not sure. I think it was mentioned in Goa 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Or it was 1,200 locomotives, which has been built for the next 10 years. I also know that Alstom won, I think, around about 1,000 locomotives in Mahadipura. But also this project, there's a huge planning phase, and they are always internationally connected. So if we talk if I think a little bit about the past, power plant building, or maybe also I can also imagine some kind of LNG facilities for Dhaka. I think this is Bangladesh. I think, but
Dhaka, yeah.
This is still international project with also European or US engineering. Sometimes also huge engineering in India. So I don't have pure Indian project. That's why it's difficult to rate you. And
understand. How about the government approvals in your country, going back to your country or Europe and America? Land acquisition, environment clearance, utility diversion, traffic diversion, this government developmental authorities approvals, how are they efficient? On time approvals are being provided in the contracts? Because many of the investors, big investors, are the government themselves.
I would say yes. I can't say no. If the client at the end is also some kind of if the project is planned by the government or by a government connected organization, then also the kind of government is some kind of is the client, and therefore if they do the RFP, then the whole project is the planning was done before the RFP is going out. Saying this, there's a clear timeline when the contractor has to deliver something, and then there are clear milestones when the client government has to sign something. Therefore, I would say yes, everything is okay. I don't want to say that we are fast, but you know the milestone up front, and what we also have, we have some kind of let's say lawsuits or whatever we discuss about discussions that if you need some kind of land from someone for this kind of planning, it has to be guaranteed from the government that you will get it, and you will need some kind of approvals and we also discussed this in Germany, especially for these HVDC connection lines from the north to the south.
Okay.
where we have this high power. But in addition, not in addition, if you turn it a little bit, we also did these LNG. What is it? LNG facility at the port in the northern part of Germany. I would say with high speed, based on the fact that we would like to have additional gas based on LNG, because in the past we had gas more or less coming by a pipeline from Russia, and right now we built a completely new LNG facility. I would say within 4 months, could be 6, including a brief pipeline, and so we can be extremely fast if everyone is, let's say, pulling in the same direction.
Okay. Yeah, understand. So coming back to the relationship of the client, contractor, and the consultant, what do you have to say about it?
Client, contractor, and consultant.
Relationship, 3Cs. Yeah.
So the first thing that I assume that the consultant supports the client in doing, let's say, the planning phase or whatever they do to design the project. That was one option. If this is the option, then more or less there's one element where the consultant is extremely experienced. Maybe the client is not. And then it's really good that you have some kind of support for the client doing this kind of things, and you need this relation to the consultant to pursue the project in a timely manner. Second option is that the consultant is more or less behaving as the claim manager for the client, doing this kind of contract and getting some money from the client to identify and pursue claims right from the beginning. And then there is some kind of what do we say? Wait a moment, I had that in German. One moment. Yeah, that there is some kind of dependencies, I would say, connections that the client maybe is not, he will get money to slow down the project. If he asks for claims and claims and claims, maybe he's slowing down the project from a timely manner. From a investment position from the client, everything is okay, but he's slowing down because you'll have to discuss a lot of things which are not which may not, let's say that way, pull in the direction that you will finish on time. So, and then there is some kind of, how do we say, in conflict and interest or something like that.
Correct. But the contractor's perspective, contractor comes to earn some money, despite the fact that they have to deliver the project. And from the client side, their requirement is basically what I understand. They need two things. One is the decision. Second is the on-time payment. So what you have to say about it? The decision part of it and the on-time payment to the stakeholders from the client.
Yeah. To the stakeholders, just to frame it a little bit. The what first pops in my mind is that the everyone in having this kind of contracts, clients, also stakeholders or whatever, would like to earn money at the end. This is the true statement: is if there's one let's say party on the table not getting some kind of money out of whatever engagement they are doing, then maybe this project is will have some kind of problems at the end. So let's say a positive business case, every one of that. Interesting fact is that where's the client getting the money from? So if you build some kind of, I'm not sure, let's say tunnels for vehicles or whatever, if you open the tunnel 3 months earlier, maybe the business case for also the client is a little bit more positive. If you will hand over a power plant 3 months earlier, the client is able to sell power earlier than expected. So he has more revenues based on that. Finishing on time should be always positive for the client. There should be a positive business case for the client that if he has some delay, effects on his business case. So also the client has some negative effects, and then you have some kind of win-win situation that everyone would like to finish on time.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Now going back to the quality of workmanship, what you have to say about the quality QA/QC part of it, quality assurance and quality control on any project. I mean, if you see the global picture, the German or US or UK, you have got a pretty well-defined system and processes in place, and it is being followed. However, in India, I mean, of course, last 20 years there has been a lot of, thought process given into it. Many companies are trying for it. But however, I mean, I can feel and see that we are not at par with the global standards. So what we need to do? What is your recommendation? Both in terms of QA and engineering health and safety.
So the easy answer was please follow them. But project we're talking about, there should be always some kind of quality who, because the quality management per se is more or less. The next question was how you will take these elements in your project, and then this shouldn't specific role called quality manager in projects, which in his way is, or his or her way is only focusing on quality, not on time, not on these things, only on quality.
Yes.
And then because I said some side steps, also this kind of quality aspects are connected to risks. It's a huge element in documentation.
Yeah.
Because at the end there's some handover, and documentation part is always there, and documentation is sometimes, what do we say, not on that priority. And the next thing is, it is often to do with some kind of homologation, like to have do some kind of functional safety topics or whatever. They need some kind of certifications, and it is always connected to documentation. But therefore you have to document how you worked. So you have to document your work, that you have a defined process and you follow the process. And so this ties back to my first statement, please follow them.
Yeah.
And yeah, there should be some kind of quality system in place. Yeah. And it has to be on the right priority, or on a high priority, let's say that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Same as the case with engineering health and safety. Yeah. What do you would say about engineering health and safety?
Yeah, and I personally connect this in this area. That's why, because I was a functional, or I was a licensed assessor for the German Federal Railway Association. So I also assigned for some kind of equipment right now on trains, on high-speed trains, and I connect quality and functional safety, and also if you have construction, then some kind of health, environmental, and safety always within the same viewpoint. They are different. If you talk about functional safety, then it's more or less how the system behaves in the future. If we say HSE, then it's more or less how you build this kind of problem, but they are always important. So I don't want to, what do we say, neglect them. I definitely believe that if you have some kind of deadly injured persons on your project or in your plant, it isn't worth to pursue the project. That's why. So we definitely start with some kind of zero harm, target, and then the question is how you do that. This starts with, I'm not sure how it is named in English. It starts with helmets. It starts with shoes. It starts with this vest, and then everyone has to be trained. And if you enter, I'm not sure how this is because then I haven't been to your plant in India. Sorry for that. But if you visit the plant in the UK, you always will get this kind of 5 minutes training in the beginning. Always.
Okay. Before you enter the plant, yeah.
Yes, always. You will get some kind of video, whatever you will get. Always before entering a plant, you will always get this kind of training, like you entering an airplane. Entering an airplane is always this kind of safety instructions in the beginning. Always, you know what to do. But there's always this kind of safety instructions. Always.
Yeah, we also do have in the oil and gas industry, there is pretty much system processor there. And India also, as I said, last 15, 20 years, people are trying to implement as much as there is systems and processes. But then in terms of skill set, it's not like our workers, we cannot compare them with the European standards or American standards or the workers in German, Europe or America. They are much skilled. I think what I know, one discipline they work and they are being trained for 7 years. But in India, it is not like this. We have too many people and the workers comes and goes. Nobody knows. I mean, there is not a fixed category of people. Our people, like in Europe and all, carpenter will do a carpentry job only. Fitter will do a fitter job. So ours, I mean, since we have so many people, so it's difficult. But then, yeah, there is, people are trying for it. Let's see when it happens. But then it's very important,
Yep.
We should not lose lives, for the sake of doing or working in a project. As simple as that.
Yes, and all people in the world behave different, and I've seen people in Latin America, also US, as you said, and in China, everyone has a different culture, different style. So that you have to take. You can't switch on this, let's immediately, and I don't want to argue that only the how to say that only the German very, let's say, hard way is the right thing. That is not the common. You have to adapt and drive, but drive these things, let's say, consistently.
Yeah. Thank you. Just 2 more questions. What, according to you, is the leadership style in any company team should be like? It's pertaining to leadership.
Yes, I don't have this, but there is not one leadership style. Also, there is not only one leadership style needed in projects. I have seen projects more or less like which I believe they have to be let's say executed more or less in the clear hierarchical style, more order based. Like, go there, wait for 5 minutes, and then I will tell you what to do next. And then what I tell you what to do next, more or less, really from the boss to the to the groups below, what they have to do. And if you have a project which is really on a hard time, then you have to work in that way and then control it also on a daily, let's say weekly, whatever basis that is more or less order driven. And then the next one, what I definitely believe is if you have specific teams for doing sub projects or maybe also developments or whatever, you need it more or less in some kind of what is the term for that? Like you objective oriented or maybe target oriented. So this is the target. Do it however you do it. I don't care, but please deliver it on time in 3 weeks or maybe 4 weeks, or maybe could also be 6 months in the specific talent. I will support you if you need someone in addition, or if you have more manpower or maybe more resources, please tell me. But if you don't come to me, I trust you that you will perform on time within, let's say, 4 weeks to 6 months. I don't know how this is named, but this is the style I definitely believe will bring much more power to a project because you place all these things you have to do on more shoulders. In the first one, there's only one in the pyramid thinking the way forward, and on the other thing, a way that you are able to steal it. But based on that, if you have to trust that someone works 3 months without any controlling and reporting, you have to trust that the result is there within 3 months. And if not, or if they see some kind of risk, or he, she, whatever, it should be mentioned early. So, and I believe this trust-based thing is much more efficient, but everyone has to pull also in the same direction and also come back if he or she finds some risks. And so these are both styles. I have seen project where I recommended also 2 weeks ago, I think, or maybe last week, for a project in Germany. They behave to a little bit more in the order-oriented style, like controlling every day or maybe every second day, having this kind of clear orders to go and go and go, just to honestly speaking, to kick someone in the ass that he's going forward.
Exactly.
And I'm not the one and the other one, and this is the right one, this is the right one. It has to be situational based, which one is the right one, or maybe project based, which one could be the right one. And I'm also sure that it has to be flexible, that you will shift it on during execution. If you start with trust based thing, that was the term I used, and then you will have some kind of delays, then maybe you have to shift to the other one.
Last but not the least, now in India, have so many projects are coming up. So going forward, maybe in a couple of years, I think India is going to have highest number of projects, because all other parts of the world, mostly China is developed. There is not much of things to be done in USA, Europe. India, a lot of constructions are coming up, a lot of things going to happen. So from your perspective, since you are also handling India, what do we need to improve upon to take us to the global standards in the construction industry? Of course, again, when it goes to the global standards in terms of deliverables and so on and so forth, what is your suggestion?
If we talk about projects, let's split a little bit. If we talk about project managers and commercial project managers, I definitely believe that they have some kind of career path and certifications, qualification and certification. So this is also true for the project managers, that also this kind of it could be like IPMA, DCBA. We also in Siemens we have nearly the same or maybe close to that, but you will not be you could be qualified as B project manager, but you will be certified only if you have done 2 C-class projects, or maybe one, I don't know right for the moment in time. So you have to have some kind of past experiences you made personally, and then go forward. This is one thing. Then the next thing, what I've also seen, let's say somewhere in the world, that if the amount of projects will grow faster than the number of project managers, sometimes it happens that you will have one project manager with 5 to 6 projects at the same point in time. And now the question, this couldn't be. So you have to train them early, or maybe educate them early. Sorry. This is one. If you talk about supporting task, procurement, engineering, supplier selection, this is all connected with these kind of things you say, quality systems you have to have in place, and or maybe also the way how you drive these projects forward. Let's say take procurement, supplier management, and this has to be developed in the same in the same steps. It has to be connected, because if you have a really experienced project manager having done 2 projects in the past, now he's jumping on a new project and in a different domain, but the suppliers are still not there, then he's right in the problem, or his suppliers are not there with the right quality, let's say that way. Then he starts with problems at the really beginning. And as I'm more or less in the project management arena, that's why I talked about the project manager, commercial project manager before. And what I would like to see, let's say that way, is then open discussions about risks, coming with some kind of if, let's say, problematic topics, which may be a problematic topic in the future. So it's currently seen as a risk really early. So this will help on all sides. And I know that this could be some, let's say that way, because this could be some kind of also cultural topic.
Yeah.
But not to discuss some kind of risks, but it will drive the projects forward if this kind of open discussion is still there.
Yeah, correct. Very true. Very true. Yeah, yeah. Understand. So yeah, I mean, thank you very much. Lot of insights. Thank you very much for your time. You are in vacation on the.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pankaj. Yeah, I'm on a business trip from Munich to Frankfurt right now, here in the middle of the Alps.
Yeah.
Interesting location here. So so thank for having this kind of informal suit here, but it was fun to talk to you.
Yeah, yeah. We'll catch up sometime later. Yeah, we'll be in touch. Thank you very much.